Hey, what's up, everyone? Another day. It's crazy. This is, if you're a soccer fan, you kind of take a step back and think about everything. And still, I woke up this morning and still, I didn't, kind of felt like I was dreaming. I didn't get a chance to watch the game last night, but I was following it via Twitter the entire night, and it's hard to believe we're going to have a World Cup without the United States. First time since 1986. At that time, I was 3, so even then, I don't remember a World Cup without the United States. It's stunning that it happened. We can all be angry about it. There's a lot of anger and blame to go around in a situation like this where where a team like the United States does not qualify. It's still surreal to think that that they're not going to be there in next June and July. As awful as it is that they will not be there, it's a blessing in disguise, in the simple aspect of wholesale changes need to be made at U.S. Soccer, whether it's, I think Sunil Gulati, I think he's got to go. Made a lot of money for the United States, or for U.S. Soccer, and obviously that's a huge aspect of it. Unfortunately, the development did not come along with that. They didn't invest that $100 million or whatever it was surplus that they had. They didn't invest that properly enough to make sure that the youth development was there. If you look at U.S. Soccer from top to bottom, the coaching isn't there, and you can see that in a lot of the youth levels. And I've seen a lot on Twitter. The elitist mentality of youth sports in the United States is, it's staggering. Parents getting involved a lot more than what they should. And you can just tell that, and Taylor Twellman said it perfect on one of his many rants on SportsCenter. The United States has this arrogance about them. And like he stated it perfect in the aspect of, we can have that arrogance when it comes to basketball, when it comes to football, hockey, baseball, because those top leagues are, they're based in the United States. So we can have that type of arrogance to where it's not as looked down upon. But when the United States, we haven't done a damn thing in soccer. If you look at everything, we had a run to the quarterfinals in 2002, and probably should have made it to the World Cup semifinals. If it wasn't for, a call here or there against Germany. But, since then we've crashed and burned. And that's exactly what happened here in this World Cup qualifying cycle. Sadly, the writing was on the wall. Even with the victory over Panama on Friday, I still felt weird about the game going into it. It didn't feel right. You kind of felt like I don't know, it did. It just felt weird. It didn't feel promising going down to Trinidad. You could see the videos of the training sessions to where the field there was a moat around the field. It was wet, and the vibe just wasn't there. And good on Trinidad. They had nothing to play for. They came out to take us out, and good on them. Good on Trinidad. Good for Panama. Panama returned the favor when the United States knocked Panama out the last World Cup qualifying cycle. They knocked them out because the way everything stood, with the way the results were going, Mexico was going to miss the World Cup, and Panama was going to advance. However, Zusi scored that goal, knocked Panama out, and allowed Mexico to get into the playoff spot. So, Mexico didn't return the favor. They lost to Honduras last night. Panama knocked off Costa Rica, so good on them. I haven't seen too much about the phantom Panama goal, the one that didn't go in but accounted the equalizer. At that point, you shouldn't be the United States, we should not be in that situation to where we have to rely on a call here or there. That never should have been the case. However, it was, and nothing worked out for us. So here's a chance now for U.S. Soccer to take a step back and really make those changes that are needed. There's a lot of talent. The U17 team right now is, they're doing very well in the World Cup right now in India. So there's a lot of talent on that team. Josh Sargent is the one name that comes to mind where, you see him and it's like, okay, here we go. You've got Cameron Carter-Vickers, Emerson Hyndman is another one. There's a lot of talented players that the United States that we have. The issue is, and I've heard it from many, and I don't quite have the experience with that right now, but a lot of the issue is, we can develop the players, from kind of like ages 6 on to where, and like I said, I see it with my son, like the youth soccer. They just don't. The coaching just isn't there. But when it comes to that, it's more of, the lack of coaching in the youth area is, you're kind of dealt with that, and you got to deal with with that in the youth soccer. But then once you start getting a couple years older than that, then you really have to start developing those coaches to where you can really push the development of these players. The pay-to-play model, no excuse for that. That has got to go. You cannot afford the amount of players and the amount of kids that are playing soccer in this country, and with that pay-to-play model, it's not working out. It's just there's nothing about it that's good right now. You look and you see how many players that, like I said, that are playing soccer at this point in time that have, that we could have if it wasn't for the pay-to-play model. I mean, there's a lot of players that I guarantee that have fallen through the cracks that we have missed out on simply because of that model. When, soccer is one of the easiest sports to play in terms of, you just need a ball and a ball in a little area to dribble and everything like that, and there you go. You can play soccer. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of the youth and even in the lower income areas. Make it available to everyone. And I believe it was Hercules Gomez on ESPN FC. One of the videos I saw on ESPN FC was saying he saw a breakdown of I think it was the U17 team, U17 and maybe the U20 team. And he said there was only a handful of players, maybe a couple, that were from like the western part of the country. It's all East Coast. Now, that's a big problem for the United States. A lot of them are coming from the East Coast, which is fine. However, you cannot let some of these kids, whether it be from Texas, whether it be from California, the Pacific Northwest, those kids, cannot let them fall through the cracks. We have to take advantage of that and develop those kids and build them up. And you look at the problem. This is not. It's not going to damage U.S. soccer. I was, you take a step back after last night. It was kind of one of those situations to where you need to kind of let everything digest, and then kind of talk about, because it was the simple anger right from the get-go that we lost. We lost to Trinidad. That's inexcusable. We shouldn't be. We lost 5 games in this, in the Hex. That's unbelievable. You cannot. You just cannot fathom that if you're a U.S. soccer fan. And unfortunately, it happened. But like I said, it's a blessing in disguise in this simple aspect that everyone can take a step back and figure out how to fix it. This can easily be fixed, and it can be taken care of to where we can rebuild U.S. soccer to what it should be. And we have, the resources we have in this country for, whether it's monetary, facilities, we can have that. We have resources that can make us one of the top soccer countries in the world. And you have to believe in that, have to make the changes. All is not lost. It does suck, because if you think about it, we won't see Christian Pulisic, the greatest player right now that the United States has produced soccer-wise, a kid that is starting for one of the biggest clubs in the world, with Dortmund in Germany. And we're not going to see him on the world stage. We're not going to see him in the World Cup for another 7 years. 7 years it's going to be before we see Christian Pulisic play on the world's biggest stage in the World Cup. That is just unbelievable to think. It just, it kills you to think about. But, if you let me take that back. Not 7 years. It'll be, 2022, the Qatar World Cup, not 7. I don't know where I came up with the 7 number. But, we have, there's that gap of time to where we're not going to see Christian Pulisic play in the World Cup. And that just, that sucks as a soccer fan, as kids. I look at my kids, and what they could look up to a Christian Pulisic and watch him, in the World Cup. I try to expose them to everything, sports wise, so that way they can kind of get that. And unfortunately, these kids growing up are not going to be able to see him play on the stage like that. But like I said, the talent that is coming up through the youth, or through the U17s and above, it's time to play those kids. You have to play them. Get them that experience now. What do you have to lose? The next biggest tournament isn't like the Gold Cup in 2 years, I believe. So, the U.S. is in a position to where they could, get it rolling again. Get these kids that experience. Get them that international play. And let them go. It's crucial. You could, like I said, the writing was on the wall with everything. The fact that we missed two Olympic cycles, that's crucial there. That is that much time that U23s are not getting that international experience. The tournament experience, they're not getting that simply because we missed out on it. It just comes down to the fact that we have to get better coaching, have to get a better system, and everything, like I said, you take that time, take that step back. It's time to replace Sunil Gulati, get him out of there, and bring in the right people who are going to change U.S. soccer for the better. It's not, like I said, all is not lost. This is a chance for us to redesign, and rebuild, and it'll happen. U.S. will be back in the World Cup in 2022, and hopefully we can get to a point to where we are back as one of the top soccer countries, back in CONCACAF, and back on the world stage. So it stings right now, but the thing is, you got to get out there and support our teams, our local clubs here in Cincinnati. Obviously, FC Cincinnati, but support your clubs. Enjoy it. Enjoy the game of soccer. Enjoy the World Cup. You've got teams like Iceland, who I think are. I'm a big fan of Iceland. I've always liked the country anyway. But the fact that they made noise in the Euro last year was incredible. You've got Germany, the defending World Cup champions. You got Messi, who single-handedly took Argentina to the World Cup. They fought through the adversity and single-handedly brought them to the World Cup. Follow teams like that. Find a team and get engaged with it. It's going to be a lot of fun. The World Cup is one of the best. It's my favorite tournament. You get you can't beat the world's best players and world's best teams battling it out for worldwide supremacy. It's awesome. It's a great thing. So enjoy it. Like I said, I encourage everyone, find a team, follow them, and roll with it. So, like I said, just get past this thing of missing out. It sucks, but again, it is what it is. We'll be back better than ever. So, with that being the case, let's continue to support our teams, and it'll all be good in the end. Like I said, once we get everything fixed, it'll be, we can take a positive movement for it and go forward. So, as always, thank you guys so much for your support. Follow me on Twitter at I am Chris Asbrock. Our website, feeltheimpactsports.com. Studs Up Soccer FC as well on Twitter. And always check out the YouTube page. And again, thank you guys so much. And have yourselves a fantastic rest of the day.